be wrinkled. My brother, no matter how strong you are, to get to a time whereby when you ruku, you feel your joints. That is the truth. The blossoming of the garden is when you are in your youthful exuberance. Its drying up is as you go older. Previously, when you look into your mirror, you didn't have even any beard. Then you started growing a beard. Then it started changing its color to white. No matter how much henna you put in the beard, it's still going to be white. That's the truth. No matter how strong you are, you're able to run from here to wherever you want to. To keep up fitness, it will get to a point whereby you'll be told to walk to be able to be fit. Because if you don't know and then you run, that is it. Your waist locks up and that is it. You're gone. It will get to a point in time whereby you are the one who washes yourself and then you dress yourself up. You take care of yourself in the restroom. It will get to a point whereby someone will have to lead you to the restroom. SubhanAllah, I watched a video 2 days ago on Facebook and I couldn't control myself. This man in his 80s, rich, I think it's in England, a white man in his 80s, rich, well-to-do. His children have abandoned him in his home. Caretakers have to come and take care of him. And this caretaker is the one who will pick him up, take him to the bathroom and wash him. And then he was telling the caretaker, I used to wash myself. And today, you are washing me. He said, I'm a multi-millionaire. My children are just waiting for me to die so that they enjoy the money. But they are not here to wash me, to take care of my feces. They are not here to do that. You are the one doing that. I don't know how I am going to reward you. That is why it's very, very important you teach your children Iman and Islam. It's very, very important. Teach your children to love you, to love the deen. Teach your children that. You live in a different society. Back home in Africa, we don't have home for the old age. We don't know it. We live with our grandparents and our great-grandparents in the house. We take care of them, we wash them, we bathe them, we do everything for them. Irrespective of whether they have $1 million in their account when they die, we're going to enjoy. No, but you in your communities or even your society has been structured in such a way that it is 24/7 job, working 24/7. So if you have an old person, because of your commitment to your job, you might not be able to take care of them. But then I tell you one thing. Put Islam and Iman in the hearts of your kids. And even if they have a 16-hour job, when they come home for those 8 hours or 4 hours, they will spend it with you. One of the Salaf, who was very rich, was asked when he was going to die, how much money did you leave for your children? He said, if I left for them the dunya in its entirety without Iman, then it is nothing. But then if I should leave them with Iman and then deprive them of the dunya, I've given them everything. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz was the Khalifa in his time. And then his children came on the eve of Eid. Let's say at this time and tomorrow we are going to for Eid. And then the children came and then he said, dear father, we don't have clothes for Eid. He looked into his pocket and there was no money. He checked the safe in the house, there was no money. And then the secretary of the treasury was there and then he said, Ya Khalifa, we can lend you some money, You buy your children clothes. After the end of the month, when we pay you, you can just pay us back. He told him, did you look into the Lawh al-Mahfuz and see that my name has been written that I'll survive till next month? He said no. And then he told his children, ليس العيد لمن لبس الجديد ولكن العيد من خاف الوعيد. Eid is not about wearing new clothes. Eid is about fearing the encounter with the Almighty Allah. So please, let's feed this into our children. When we are old, 60, 70, 80, 90 years, they will have time for us even within their busy schedules. So the Almighty Allah says, you've got to a point whereby your knees cannot support you. That wealth that you have, it will get to a point in time whereby you cannot eat the good deeds, good things of the dunya. You'll be told, don't take sugar, don't take salt, don't drink Milo, don't take Bonvita, don't drink milk, don't eat meat, don't eat fish. What else has been left for you to eat? Grass. That's all. You yourself will not even agree to take the meat or to take the fish or to take the sugar or to take the salt. You yourself will tell yourself no. But then previously, you took everything that you want. When you go for a buffet, you ate everything. But now, at this age now, you're very careful. No, I won't take this. No, I won't take this. No, I won't take this. Why? You're preserving your health. There are some activities that you don't indulge in. That is the reality of the dunya. It will come to a point in time whereby you will be in a situation that you yourself will tell yourself the truth that no, this is no longer working. So Almighty Allah said, the life that we're living is like a garden, green, blossoming, beautiful to the eyes, nice and sweet. After some time, it dries up. When it dries up, the color changes. After the color changes, it withers, and then it falls down, and then it becomes scattered debris. And that is the reality of the dunya. When you go to Surah Al-Kahf, the Almighty Allah gives us an example of this dunya. He says, وَضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلَ الرَّجُلَيْنِ جَعَلْنَا لِأَحَدِهِمَا جَنَّتَيْنِ. The story is, two men, one of them was given two gardens. The other has no garden. And these two gardens were gardens of grapevines. And the two gardens were bordered by palm trees. And within the gardens, they had all kinds of fruits. And Almighty Allah made water to gush forth from the garden. So the garden had its own natural irrigation. And Almighty Allah said, the garden was so successful that it didn't, fall short of giving food and fruits. This guy who has this garden, one day he entered the garden, وَدَخَلَ جَنَّتُهُ وَهُوَ ظَالِمٌ لِنَفْسِهِ. He was so occupied of himself and so full of himself. He entered the garden. He said, "Ma adhunnu an tabida hadhihi abada." He said, "I don't think this is going to perish ever. This is going to be forever. This garden that I have is going to be forever. This Ferrari that I'm riding is going to be forever. This multi-million-dollar company that I have is going to be forever. This, house that I'm living in is going to be forever. This job that I have is going to be forever. This beauty that I have." Some women in making up, they have two mirrors, one in the front, one in the back. I don't know what they are trying to look at. This beauty is going to be forever. It's never going to perish. I don't even think Qiyamah is true. I don't think there is a day of recompense. Even if there is a day of recompense and I go back to Allah, already I have all these goodies, I'm going to get them again. It's going to be double. قال له صاحبه. His friend, the poor man, said, أكفرت بالذي خلقك من تراب. Are you being ungrateful to the one that created you from dust? It is a lesson to us here. All of us, كلكم لآدم وآدم من تراب. All of us are from dust. And that is the truth. الناس من جهة التصوير أصناف. أبوهم آدم والأم حواء. فإن يكن لهم في أصلهم شرف يتفاخرون به فالطين والماء. In our creations we are different. Lakin our originality is Adam and Hawa. Whether you're a Muslim or not, whether you are a congressman or not, whether you're a rich man or not, whether you are an imam or sheikh or not, we are all from Adam. فَإِن يَكُنْ لَهُمْ فِي أَصْلِهِمْ شَرَفٌ. If there is any form of nobility in our existence, فَالطِّينُ وَالْمَاء, we are all from dust and water. That's it. So he told him, you are from water, you are from dust. ثُمَّ مِن نُطْفَةٍ. Then you became a sperm drop. So all this pride and pomposity, you are from a sperm drop. And this sperm drop, when he touches even your clothes, you cannot perform an ibadah with it. You need to wash it. That's who you are. There was this man who was, being proud and arrogant in front of Abu Bakr Siddiq, and Abu Bakr Siddiq told him, أَتَتَكَبَّرْ عَلَى اللَّهِ أَنْتَ الَّذِي نَزَلْتَ مِنْ مَجْرِ الْبَوْلِ مَرَّتَيْنِ. Are you being proud and arrogant? Don't you know you are from the same place that urine is from? Where does the money come from? It's the same place where urine comes from. So why this arrogance? Why this big feeling? Why thinking that you are better than everybody else when you came from the same place where urine comes from? We are all from sperm drop. And if it touches you, you don't want even people to see it. You want to wash it. That's who you are. So min nutfa. Thumma sawwaka rajula. After that, he perfected you into a man. Lakinnahu Allahu Rabbi. As for me, this poor guy who doesn't have anything, Allah is my God. Wala ushriku bi rabbi ahad. I'm not going to associate any partners with Allah. Walawla idh dakhalta jannatak. I wished when you had entered your Jannah, Ulta MashaAllah, you would have said MashaAllah. I wished anytime you see your home, that multi-million-dollar home, you say MashaAllah. Your car, you say MashaAllah. Your buildings, you say MashaAllah. Your companies, you say MashaAllah. Your kids, you say MashaAllah. You look at yourself in the mirror, you say MashaAllah. La quwwata illa billah. There is no power except that of Allah. Maybe you see me, I'm a poor man, I don't have anything. فَعَسَى رَبِّي. Maybe my God will give me something better than your home. That house that you're being proud of, that house that you think is better than everybody else's house, maybe the Almighty Allah will give that next person a better house than yours. That's the truth. That is the reality. We know of people, and then you know them in this community, in the past 10, 15 years or 20 years, they are millionaires. They owned the state of Maryland. Now they are homeless. True or false? We have them. And there are people who yesterday were homeless. Today they have homes. They have families and they're taking care of people. I read of something in Bani Israel that a rich man was sitting with his wife for dinner. And a homeless person came and knocked the door. Salaam alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. What did he say? He said, I need food. This wife decided to take a plate and then take some of the food to give to this guy. The husband asked her, what are you trying to do? She said, I'm taking some food to the homeless. He said, La, in my home there is no sadaqah. People don't, no, there's no sadaqah in my home. This guy shouted, any food, I'm hungry, help me. He said, no. The guy left. وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَّامُ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. It is the days of the Almighty Allah, and then He changes them the way He wants. إِذَا جَالَتْ عَلَيْكَ الدُّنْيَا فَجُدْ بِهَا عَلَى النَّاسِ لِأَنَّهَا تَتَقَلَّبُ. If the Almighty Allah sends to you the shadow and the beauty of the world to you, try to also extend it to others, because shadows do not stay at one place. Maybe you're sitting under a shade and there's a friend who is sitting under the sun. You tell him, brother, can you come over and come and sit with us? Do you know why? In the next 4 or 5 hours, the shade will move from your place to go to his place. And then he will tell you, brother, can you come and join us in the shade? So he said, no sadaqah. The Almighty Allah took away the money, the wealth, the home. He was not able to take care of this wife, and then he divorced her. She got married to another man. And she was sitting with this new husband eating, and then they heard someone crying, who is going to help me with food? Who is going to help me with food? She took some of the food, and then the husband asked her, what are you going to do with the food? She said, I'm going to give it to the man outside who is asking for food. He said, pick everything and give it to him. She took the whole food to the man. She came back and then she was crying. The husband said, why are you crying? Is it because of this small food that we've given away? We have enough at home. You already know it. So why are you crying? She said, I've seen something that has taught me a lesson in the Dunya. He said, what is it? She asked him, do you know the man outside begging? He said, no, I didn't see him. I don't know him. And then she told him, it is my previous husband who is begging. We were in the same house with him, and a man came asking for food, and then we didn't help him. And then the husband asked her, do you really know who I am? She said, no. He said, I'm the first beggar that you sacked. That is the reality of the dunya. Today is you, tomorrow is not you. Today you have it, who knows tomorrow? Someone else doesn't have it today. Who knows what he is going to have tomorrow? A lot of us have looked scornfully upon some people. Today we cannot look at them in the eyes. Why? Because we graded them using some criteria. Today, they've surmounted those obstacles in life, and they're doing good. When we meet them, salam alaikum, we put our heads down. I know of someone back home who was maltreated by even his own family. It got to a point whereby he was an only son to his mother, and she died earlier. And then they maltreated him, his other brothers and sisters and mothers. Now, as I tell you, Sheikh, he's the pillar of the house. He feeds them, he clothes them, he does everything for them. They don't look at him in the eye now. Anytime there's anything, they put their heads down. And then he tells them, forget about it, that is life. So this guy who had 2 gardens was telling his friend, the poor man, that forget about it. So the poor man was telling him, who knows, tomorrow the Almighty Allah will give me something better than yours. وَيُرْسِلَ عَلَيْهَا حُسْبَانًا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ, and then he will send calamity from the skies onto your wealth. فَتُصْبِحَ صَعِيدًا زَلَقًا, and then your farm, your land, your riches will become dusty ground, smooth, there's nothing on it. أَوْ يُصْبِحَ مَاؤُهَا غَوْرًا, this river that you have, this constant flow of cash that you have in your account, this business that is booming, that is going on, and then you don't respect anybody because of it. Because you have some money, you think everybody else is foolish, is stupid, excuse me for using the word. But then, at the end of the day, when the Almighty Allah wills, He's going to just cut that supply off. And there's nothing you can do. There is nothing you can do about it. When He decides to cut off this line, there is nothing you can do about it. So the man is telling him, the poor man is telling the rich man, the stream that you have in your garden, at a point in time, the Almighty Allah wills, it's just going to dry up. فَلَن تَسْتَطِيعَ لَهُ طَلَبًا, you can't even look for it even if you want. You're not able to do it. The strength that you have now, the beauty that you have now, the money that you have now, it will get to a point in time you don't even need it. Ask my grandmothers who are in their 60s and 70s whether they need makeup. They don't. They just bath and then they use their shea butter and off, they are gone. It is you, the younger ones, who want to deceive us. That is why you always spend hours on ND and then you, no, this is here, it's too thick. You go back to the washroom, you wash your face all over again, clean it with a towel, come back and then start all over again. One day we were going out with my wife. I told her we will leave at 7:30. So, I was asleep. She woke up around 5:30. And then she was preparing. I looked at her and I said, what are you doing? She said, I'm preparing. I said, we are leaving at 7:30 and you are disturbing me at 5:30 a.m. You switch on the light of the bedroom. Switch it off. She said, I can't switch it off. I said, okay, no problem. I left her and went into the living room. I left her in the bedroom. She was doing her own things. And then around 6:30, she woke me up. Hey, get up. I said, why? She said, you said you were leaving at 7:30. I said, it's 6:30 now. We have 1 more hour. So what's this? What's this hurry? She said, okay, what time do you want to wake me to wake you up? I said, wake me up at 7:15. That's enough for me. At 7:15, I woke up, went to the bathroom, bathed for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, came up, 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 7:30 on the dot, I'm done. She was not yet done. I said, Abba, if in 2 hours, you're not yet done, how long do you need? And then this beautification that you are trying to do, you are not doing it for me in the house, we are going out. You are going out. If it is for me in the house, no problem. Alhamdulillah. But all these 2 hours, 5:30 to 7:30, you're not done. It's going out again. What is that? It will get to a point in time whereby she will not need it. Even if I tell her I need makeup, she'll look at me and will chuckle. You're wasting your time. The strength that you have, that you used to work with, it will get to a point in time whereby you see the job there, you can't do it. You will not even attempt to do it. May the Almighty Allah safeguard us. وَأُحِيطَ بِثَمَرِ. This guy, his garden, all of a sudden, his garden was left in ruins. فَأَصْبَحَ يُقَلِّبُ كَفَّيْهِ. He started turning his hands all over. Alama anfaqa fiha. Of all the money that he's invested into the farm, it's all gone waste. وَيَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي لَمْ أُشْرِكْ بِرَبِّي أَحَدًا. And then he's saying, oh my God, I wish I had not associated anybody with you in ibadah. After this story, the Almighty Allah tells us, وَضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Give them another example of the reality of this dunya. كَمَاءٍ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ. It is like rain from the skies. فَاخْتَلَطَ بِهِ نَبَاتُ الْأَرْضِ. It falls down and it mixes up with the fruits of the earth. فَأَصْبَحَ هَشِيمًا تَذْرُهُ الرِّيَاحِ. It later becomes, dried up, and then the wind blows it away. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ مُقْتَدِرًا. And Almighty Allah is very, very, accurate and very, very straight to the point in whatever He does. My brothers and sisters, whatever we have in this dunya is a test for us. The monies, the health, that is the reality of the dunya. When you look at yourself in the mirror, if you have your old picture, put it aside and look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, what is the truth of this dunya? That is the reality. It's our time. How much more time? We have 20 more minutes. Having said all this, does it mean that we shouldn't strive for the dunya? Does it mean that we shouldn't buy good homes? Does it mean that we shouldn't buy good cars? Does it mean that we shouldn't eat good food? Does it mean that we shouldn't, look for beautiful men or handsome, beautiful women? Sorry, there are no beautiful men. Or you say them here in America. Because sometimes the American English is yes. You end up saying beautiful men. Beautiful women or handsome men doesn't mean no. Does it mean you shouldn't use perfume? Does it mean you shouldn't use good clothes? No, far from it. The Almighty Allah said, قل من حرم زينة الله التي أخرج لعباده والطيبات من الرزق قل هي للذين آمنوا في الحياة الدنيا خالصة يوم القيامة. Allah is asking, who said that all the good deeds of the dunya is haram? Who said so? وَالطَّيِّبَاتِ مِنَ الرِّزْقِ, and the nice things, who said it's haram? Building a good home, eating good food, having good clothes, riding a good car, who said it is haram? Almighty Allah said, قُلْ, tell them, هِيَ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. It is for the people who believe in the dunya. Islam is not about being dirty. Excuse me to use the word. Some people believe that it is part of Iman. You should be dirty, don't eat good food. Anytime you are walking, you walk like this as if you are sick. And then they think it is Iman. When you say Salaam Alaikum, when the sister says Salaam Alaikum, he doesn't want to do, but he does like this too. Is that Islam? No. That is not Islam. Islam allows you to live good. It is not part of Islam to tell me you want to wear tattered clothes is part of Iman. You are lying. It is not Islam. It's not true. If you have enough money, wear the finest designer clothes in town. If you have money, buy the luxurious car that you've been dreaming of. Islam allows us to dream. But then, what Islam doesn't like is excessiveness. That's what Islam hates. The Almighty Allah doesn't like you doing things in excess. That is why in Surah Al-Qasas, they told Qarun, إِنَّ قَارُونَ كَانَ مِنْ قَوْمِ مُوسَى فَبَغَى عَلَيْهِمْ وَآتَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْكُنُوزِ مَا إِنَّ مَفَاتِحَهُ لَتَنُوءُ بِالْعُصْبَةِ أُولِي الْقُوَّةِ إِذْ قَالَ لَهُ قَوْمُهُ لَا تَفْرَحْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْفَرِحِينَ وَابْتَغِ فِي مَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ دَارَ الْآخِرَةِ. They told him, Qarun, you have all this money, use the money to seek for the hereafter. You have this wealth, use your wealth to seek for the hereafter. We are building a new place, right? Let your money enter there. Put your money there. There are miskin and masakin in the community. From time to time, cook food. By the roadside, you meet homeless people, give it to them. Use your money to seek the hereafter. You have money, do qurban and send to places where people need them. You have money and there are communities, people around you who are finding it hard to make ends meet, even though they have jobs, but their jobs are not giving them sufficient funds, and then you know it, secretly deposit money in their accounts. That is what you use your wealth in the dunya for. If you are strong as a young man here, and they are working over there, even though they have laborers, and then they pay them from time to time, volunteer your energy and your time, and say, I also want to carry bricks and concrete when they are building the masjid. Your knowledge, use it to help Islam. So they told him, وَابْتَغِ فِي مَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ دَارَ الْآخِرَةِ. Make sure the goodies that the Almighty Allah has given you, use them to look for the hereafter. وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. But then don't forget your own share in this dunya. Don't forget your share. وَأَحْسِنْ كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ. Also be good to people the way the Almighty Allah has been good to you. وَلَا تَبْغِ الْفَسَادَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Don't look for transgression on the surface of the earth. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. The Almighty Allah doesn't want transgressors. He doesn't want bad people or criminals or evil people. So in Islam there is tawazun and i'tidal. There is moderateness, and then there is clemency, and there is reasonability in Islam. There is no extremism, and then there is no negligence in Islam. Islam has two arms, and these two arms are the ones that keep them in motion. There is no extremism, and then there is no negligence. خَيْرُ الْأُمُورِ أَوْسَطُهَا. The best of things are the one that is moderate, and then it is clement. There is this hadith of Anas bin Malik radiallahu anhu in Sahih Muslim. A group of the Sahaba went to the wives of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then they said, we want to know how the Prophet lives in his house. The wife said, the Prophet, he prays a lot at night. He fasts a lot. His studies is like that. So when they came out, the guys were like, wow, this is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of them said, you know what? Me, I'm going home. Even my wife, I'm going to divorce